Missing, lost, trafficked, investigations. I'm Pebbles,
Yo,
executive
you see
news
what I'm saying?
producer, creator,
Everything
and
should start
writer.
here in the airways about August 11th.
We're looking everywhere, in bushes, in ditches, in roads, everywhere. We've even gotten shot at looking.
Thing I can think about is my child's out there somewhere.
The mother's house, by the mother's house, is where they're protected.
Hard night tonight. I can't sleep. Had so many things going through my head.
Elizabeth Lizzie Green has been missing since April 17th of 2024 when she was last seen leaving her home in the remote community of Calo, Utah, to walk to a new job at a neighboring ranch. She never arrived at the ranch, and there has been no trace of her since. She was last seen around noon, the last time she spoke with her mother, and at the time of her disappearance, she was only 21 years of age. She is reportedly 5'11", and she was weighing approximately 125 pounds. At the time of her disappearance, she has green eyes and light brown hair. She was reportedly last seen wearing a pink tie-dye high-cut hoodie, light blue jeans, a black Converse high-top sneakers, and carrying a white backpack purse with sprinkles on it. She was last seen by her mother, and extensive searches have been carried out by local law enforcement, which includes K9 units, drones, and the FBI has even joined to assist in that investigation. Unfortunately, no physical evidence or clothing or footprints belonging to Elizabeth has been found. Her phone was powered off shortly after she went missing and has not been turned on since. Missing Lost in Traffic is issuing nationwide 50 state alert for Elizabeth Lizzie Green. If you have any information at all that you could share, that you recall regarding the disappearance of Elizabeth Lizzie Green, you're being asked to contact the Juab County Sheriff's Office. They can be contacted directly at 435-856-0358, 435-856-0358, a reference number of 24JC 0335 has been provided to the public. Pebbles, executive news producer of Missing Lost in Traffic, for now.
More answers now than there was the day that she disappeared, the week that she disappeared, the month. Like it just, she just had a birthday. She's, her brother's about to graduate high school. Like there's all these things, and she should be here. And it's not just that we don't have answers as to what happened. It's for me, I feel like it's been really frustrating with just not, there's just nothing. And I feel like that law enforcement's been kind of opaque as far as what's going on, and that's hard too, I'm not saying that they haven't been looking for her, but it's just, as far as like keeping us informed, that it's been hard. They won't release the information from for the case to even to Elizabeth's mom. So no, we are kind of very much in the dark. I know that whenever there's a missing person, or whenever there's someone found, they are doing DNA tests and they are testing that, and so she has been getting some of the follow up with that. But there's just really been no like progress reports or no nothing.
We've had remains found and people found here recently in Utah. When you hear about somebody found, does that give you hope that it might be Elizabeth?
I mean, that's a hard question because we obviously want to know what happened to her, but we also want her to be alive. And I mean, so it's a very mixed bag when that happens. Like I'm on all of the forums for all the missing people, and it seems like there's a few families around like the Utah, Nevada, Idaho area that everybody's going through the same thing. Like, yes, you want to know if this is your daughter or your son or your niece, or but at the same time, you don't want it to be them, obviously.
Have you heard of anybody reaching out to either Vanessa or other family or even law enforcement saying, I think I saw someone that looks like her?
No. Mm-mm. We have not.
Do you think the fact that she left from Callio, or this happened out in the West Desert, many, many miles and hours away from most congregated civilization, if you will, for a lot of folks, has that made this more difficult because of the vastness of that area?
Oh yeah, so the West Desert is somewhere that people go if they don't want to be found, if they don't want, there are some people out there that they just don't like society, they don't want to be part of it. You can be very isolated out there. Also, there's not cameras everywhere. There's no, like it's dirt roads. There's miles in between buildings or houses. There's no way to track, and then there's just so much wilderness. There's mountain ranges, the deep creeks out there. There's the desert. Like there's no way to like it find like just a scrap of evidence for something like that's just vast.
Is there anything you'd like to tell people that will see this, just members of the public, of who I can look for, or how to support a family, or anything at this point to try to get something out of really what has been a whole lot of nothing publicly over the last year?
I would like to say that if there's even a chance that Elizabeth would see this, that we love you and just we want you to come home. We're looking for you. We think about you every day. Everybody misses you. But as far as like for people, like she was 21 when she disappeared. She's 22 now. She's one of the most loving people ever. Like she's an incredibly kind-hearted person, and she's tall, thin girl, like short hair, not as short as mine, but kind of chin length hair when she went missing. But to support people who are going through it, like first of all, quit telling horror stories, like somebody's uncle's dad's cousin, these horrible things. Like don't tell family members that. Like no one, like everyone has already played out all the scenarios. Like we don't need to hear it. But also like share it. Just like even if you don't think that like it seems logical that she could just disappear, please just share it because it's got her picture. Like someone knows something. Someone's seen something. Either she left with someone or someone took her or like someone knows. And so if you heard anything, please contact us, contact, the I think it's Juab Police Department, just or you, like anyone, just tell us like anything because we just miss her and want to know what happened.
Her family's still confused, not understanding how she visibly and physically could disappear without a trace. Elizabeth was very active on social media despite living in this remote West Desert community where only about 50 people call home. Did you ever see an indication that Lizzie walked down this road here?
No.
No sign of Elizabeth. What's most confusing to you about all of this?
That she's just gone.
Do you get the sense that she's not still around?
I don't know. I have to prepare myself for the worst, but hope for the best. And I've gotten no proof either way.
Where is Elizabeth Green? The Juab County Sheriff's Office, along with the FBI, are continuing to investigate her disappearance.
And with her was pretty typical for the nature of our conversations. She was telling me how she was supposed to be starting this new job, and she'd completed Job Corps. Couldn't wait to get a license and whatnot. And, typical conversations. Can I borrow some money? Nothing seemed out of ordinary or anything, to set off any kind of alarm. She hadn't said, anything about any arguments with anyone she was living with, or, nothing out of the ordinary.
Okay, so you're saying from what you can recall, she did not seem anxious or concerned about anything in particular at the time, and she was preparing for a job course. Is that correct?
No, she had already completed graduated Job Corps.
Okay.
And after completing Job Corps, she moved out to back from the dorms in Salt Lake City, back to the ranch or the trailers they lived in neighboring this ranch.
Okay.
Which is her, not the ranch, but the trailer they lived in, and some other property near there, was her stepfather's family. I believe his parents lived a couple miles down, but this is a very, very isolated area. I would probably say maybe, from my experience when I made the trip out there after finding out, there's maybe 10 livable dwellings within like the 10-mile radius of where she was at.
Okay. So, Channel 2 News reported that there's only about 50 people living in the whole town. So not a lot of people.
Yeah, it's very spread out.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So very spread out. So there's not like, neighbors. It's not a neighborhood where there's like a house here and then like a few feet, there's, okay.
Nothing like that. And when we made the trip out there, we had to meet Elizabeth's mom, Vanessa, at a gas station in another town, just so we could follow them back to where we live, because it's remote, or where they live, because it's so remote. I remember when we met them, it was still another like 2.5 hours up into the mountains and then back down into the desert before we got to their residence.
Okay. Wow. So it's a very, very isolated area from what I'm gathering or hearing from you, correct?
Yes. Well, there's so many questions and absolutely no answers. As far as noticing a strange vehicle in that area, you would stick out like a sore thumb. It's such a remote area and so few people to begin with. Any vehicle that's, not Jims or Toms, hey, who's coming down the road? It's literally in the middle of the desert and mountains. My understanding, when they tried to ping her cell phone, there's only one cell phone within 100 miles of there, so they couldn't triangulate an exact location or anything like that.
Okay. That's interesting. Do you have any knowledge of any search warrants that they've executed, the FBI has executed on the property? I'll start with the property itself. The home that Elizabeth or Lizzie was last known to be in, which was with, the home of her mother and her stepfather. Have they searched or executed a search warrant inside of that residence or on the perimeters?
As far as I know, Vanessa and her husband, and the entire town opened up their homes and allowed searches and whatnot. I don't know, I don't think they went too in depth and were doing, a total forensic, search, but, obviously looking for obvious signs of disturbance or whatever to be able to get one. participated in the group search that the Sheriff's Department and National Guard did. I mean, they were out there on horsefoot and four-wheelers, using drones and flybys with helicopters and planes. And nothing showed up from that. And I believe they've done at least a couple searches of that nature out there.
Nothing has shown up. That is very of anything whatsoever pertaining to her. That's very, very interesting. When we think about, what really happened on April 17th of 2024, and her not leaving behind any, evidence of her anywhere. I did learn that, I believe, her social security card and identification was left behind. Is that correct?
Well, she didn't have an actual state-issued ID.
Okay.
As part of going to work at the ranch where she was going to make some money, so she could go into Salt Lake City or wherever the nearest DMV was and actually get a valid state-issued ID.
Okay.
At the time, all she had for any kind of identification, I believe, would have been her birth certificate, her social security card, and maybe an ID from Job Corps.
Okay, at that time. Okay. And just, I know that you've had a lot of time to just think and brainstorm, your daughter's disappearance. This has been extremely hurtful for you and traumatic what you've experienced. Is there anything specifically that you believe that law enforcement should do at this point that maybe has not been done in the past or hasn't been done in the past to try to figure out what really happened to Lizzie?
I'm not real sure because, they haven't been real forthcoming on what they have looked into and haven't looked into. I know that there were other issues within the family involving Elizabeth.
Mm-hmm.
Her stepbrother had been charged and convicted of raping her and had been doing time for that. And he was not allowed back in the house and had to live with other family elsewhere, once he was released after Elizabeth had moved back with her mom and started Job Corps.
Okay.
I'm not saying that they did do anything, but, I can see motive there, the stepfather, I don't know if he was telling me, hey, this is the type of situation we're looking at here because of where they were at. But he'd also mentioned when we were down there looking for that, within a half-hour drive or so were some of the deepest mines in the country. And, if something were to go down there, it'd never be found again. I don't know if that was just, hey, this is kind of what we're dealing with. Cause, I tried going out in the desert and within, a mile or so, I was turned around and, been able to find myself.
Right. Okay.
But it seems like the main focus has been around her social media account and that type of thing. So I don't know how much looking into the family or the ranch hands. I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm wondering about that. If there was, I'm hoping that there was a conversation between Lizzie's employer, perhaps, or the ranch owner and law enforcement, and because I would like to know if she had contacted the ranch owner by phone or by social media, of course, before her first day or the morning of her disappearance. So that can hold important clues as well.
Like I said, I'd like to assume that all the people involved have checked on all that, but I really don't know what's truly been investigated and what hasn't.
Right. And I know that they tend to, law enforcement, especially the FBI, tend to hold back a lot of information, and for important reasons. They want to protect the integrity of the investigation. They don't want anything compromised, and try to, you maybe share a little bit with you, and then, take a chance on perhaps you're sharing information with individuals who could be persons of interest or suspects. And so they have their own reasons for holding back information. But even with doing that, I would hope that there would be some kind of conversation, that they would reach out to you and share something with you, in terms of where they are in this investigation. That's my hope for sure. Hello?
Any news would be better than nothing.
Right, than nothing at all. And I know that Channel 2 News has repeatedly reached out. They made sure that they included this update in their most recent news report on Lizzie's disappearance. They stated that they have repeatedly reached out to the sheriff's office for updates of countless inquiries. And that's concerning, whereas they're not, the local news in that area, news station, that they're not responding or have not responded to Channel 2 News. That is very concerning to me. And so I'm hoping that a connection will be made, because it's go ahead.
Well, I've also seen several reports of young adults and whatnot being, basically kidnapped by the Mormon church and trying to force them into the fold. So I could see why there'd be some kind of cover-up of that nature. There's just so many possibilities. I see reports of people going missing all the time now, and never had a clue how big the issue really was. Everybody thinks that it always happens to someone else. It won't ever happen to anyone I know. And then when it does, you're just devastated and grasping at any kind of straw that might lead you to the right answer.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to go ahead.
I would think that they know something.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to be continuing to raise awareness regarding Lizzie's disappearance on all of the platforms, that I have is associated with missing, lost in traffic. And I'm definitely going to keep you and your family and Elizabeth's friends in my prayers as well. Is there anything that you would like to say to Lizzie directly, as we, wrap up this conversation, in case she's hearing, or someone who may have something to do with her disappearance possibly comes across this live stream?
I most definitely would. I love you. I'm never going to stop looking for you. I'm sorry I didn't protect you. Other parents keep them close.
appreciate your reaching out to me. I'm going to do everything that I can do, you know, as a journalist and activist for the missing, to try to figure out, you know, what has happened to her, raise awareness. I'm hoping that some important leads or tips will surface as a result of our conversation.
Hi, I'm Cale Green, the father of Elizibeth Green. She's been missing for almost 20 months now. I've reached out to Lured Lost in Traffic for help finding her. I'm making this video to help gain awareness to her case. I was asked how has her being missing affected my life. Well, I've lost a job. I'm way more cautious with my other children and what I allow them to do now. Lots of guilt at myself for not protecting her. Anger at myself once again for not protecting her. Anger at whoever has her and hasn't, you know, whatever they may have done to her. Nothing about this has been a positive experience, not that it ever could be, other than the help I'm receiving from this channel. Just begging anybody, somebody knows something, share it. If you have information, share it with Juab County. And please bring my daughter home.
We need to find out what really happened to her that day.
This has gotten very little media attention, and we need to find Elizabeth and bring her home.